Welcome to Rainbow Soul Vodcast, where our Soulstrology comes forward to help you manage your everyday life, with forecasts and deep dives on natal charts and queer perspectives on the planets, transits, and more. A group discussion about upcoming transits with tips on how to read these transits in your own chart. Hollis offers years of wisdom and natal chart knowledge with Bright Hawk's positive perspective and Lacrosse's inquiry. We offer the complete queer astrology experience. Welcome to Rainbow Soul. Please help us by subscribing, sharing, and commenting and reviewing. You can also learn where else Rainbow Soul is offered on our website at rainbowsoul.show.
Hey, I think we finally got there. Thank goodness we finally got there. Hi everyone, how are you doing today? I hope that you are doing well. My name is Hollis Taylor. I am one of the astrologers here at Rainbow Soul Vodcast. I know where I am and what I'm doing. I swear I do. Anyway, I am hoping that today we're going to do the broadcast for the rest of the week. I'm sorry we're a little late, so please forgive us. I'm sure you can guess why, but there's a lot of reasons why. We'll get into those a little later. But I do astrology readings for people. I do astro chart readings and all kinds of interesting things like that. And it's basically a great way to connect with the world and to understand what's happening to you in a day-to-day life. And
hi there, I'm Bright Hawk. You can always learn more about me at brighthawkproductions.com. I'm a musician, an astrologer, an artist, an author of the book The Dancing Hippo, an award-winning children's book. It's very inspiring, great gift if you're looking for a young one in your life, something creative. And yeah, I put together our astrology forecast every week, and what a time we're living in, folks. Good to remember that we all chose to be here now. Mm-hmm. We're all in this together.
Yeah, so let's talk about a few things. So first of all, it's unfortunate that Lacrosse is not with us, but there's a variety of reasons why. Number one reason that we're late in doing our broadcast is, number one, I had surgery. So I had gallbladder surgery. I was waiting for a long time, and then finally it happened. Number two, the election is very disheartening, and I think if you're if you are watching this, then you're probably LGBTQ or at least an ally. And so and it's just a little scary to be in the same country with that many people that would choose that guy. Okay, it's one thing if you don't believe in the way I live. That's fine. So that's where I've been at for a while. And in my last broadcast, and maybe in past broadcasts, I think I spoke of that I thought Kamala would win. Okay, and that is what I'm doing there is called mundane astrology. And what I've learned is I'm not very good at it. I'm not very good at predicting what normal people will do. And I thought about it for a couple of days while I was dealing with surgery and stuff. And I was like, you know why I'm probably not good at that? I don't even understand people anyway. Day to day, I don't even understand. Think about that for a minute, Bright Hawk, right?
I don't have to think very hard. It's really funny.
Because I'm a Uranian. I'm a Uranian, and a Uranian, so Uranus rules my chart because it's on my ascendant and it's exalted on my ascendant. So what does exalted mean? It means that it's at its higher vibration. It's the highest vibration it can be at 0 degrees Scorpio. And it's on my ascendant. And essentially, I intensely walk through the world like a weirdo. Now, I used to give myself a really hard time for this. For the longest time, I'd beat myself up over it. I'm like, oh gosh, Hollis, you're so weird. Why can't you just be like everyone else? And I could never figure out what it was. And then I started doing astrology. I got the correct time of my birth, and I was like, oh my God. No wonder I'm not crazy. I'm just weird. So I'm not like most people on the planet, which is perfectly fine now that I understand it.
And see how astrology can help you accept who you are, exactly how you are, and not keep trying to change or rub out that part of you that you think, God, if I could just get rid of that one trait of me. And then you see an astrology chart or have someone interpret it for you who really knows what they're doing. And it's revelation after revelation about, that's why I do this. That's why I have to do this, that, or the other. Yes.
Yeah, and I don't think it's for me to predict what most normal, everyday people will do. People that aren't spiritual, people that aren't connected to the vibrations of the earth. You know, like I can predict what my hippie friend will do because I know that she's a Pisces and that she's an Aquarius rising, right? Okay, like I can predict what she's going to do, but I can't predict the sort of normal everyday human, and I'm sorry that I can't. But if you're tuning into this, good news is you're probably a little strange too. And so congratulations. So mundane astrology is pretty much about predicting. That's what I spent some time thinking about it. You know, predicting like politics and all that is called mundane astrology, and it's mundane, and I am the furthest thing from mundane. So I'm like, yeah, I am not, what do they call that in Harry Potter?
Muggle.
A muggle. I am not a muggle, and I haven't been a muggle since, like, I don't know, long time. So, I'm sorry that I was super positive, and I thought and hoped that everyone would choose the light, because I would, Bright Hawk would, you would, and everybody in my world would. Yeah, okay? Right? So, but my world is very tight. I have very strong boundaries. I don't let people into my world that are negative or
pull you down.
Yeah, I'm not into that. So most of the people in my world are very much with me. And so I think like many, and I know there's probably maybe some people that will be watching this or watching it now. Hi, Navia. Is that I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one that, obviously. And so here we are. Why did that happen, Hollis? I can hear people saying that to me. I actually, on like the day after the election or 2 days after the election, I had several, we'll call them baby dykes, young lesbians. They're not necessarily babies. They're just young and new at being gay. And I've been doing this a while. And they're like, what happened? And they're asking me for wisdom, and I'm kind of feeling in the moment after surgery and the election like my gut's been ripped out, okay? I'm not really feeling real connected to things, but when I felt into it and asked my guides, they were really clear that this is part of the plan. And while it doesn't feel good, it is part of the plan. And it's written in the stars, Hollis. But, you know, you're very positive and optimistic. So
talk about a time of trust.
Yeah.
And the times when I know my trust has been tested, and that's been many times over the last 5 years of all the things that we've gone through all together, without astrology to help guide, make sense, explain. I honestly don't know how people do it.
No.
I feel like you drive around blind without astrology.
You're like driving around, you're just like driving across the country with no map.
Not at all. Yeah, like how do you do that, you know? Oh, we came across an interstate.
Congratulations, Navia. I've been trying to be more positive too with my thinking, hard. And we'll be getting into what the vibrations that are coming. So if you are more of a high vibrational person and you're kind of a hippie, or you're into astrology and you're into weird things like me, you're going to enjoy this broadcast. Okay? So, because I'm going to tell you some good news. Okay? And so let's take a few minutes to center and ground. Get ourselves present in the here and now. Hopefully you guys can hear that music okay. You should be able to hear that way better now. So just take this moment to close your eyes and just for a few seconds, for a few minutes, I'm going to take you on a little breathing, relaxation trip and centering. Teach you a little bit about the stars in the sky, and we're going to go forward from there. So as you are centered in your seat, close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. And as you look into the world with your eye behind your eyes, with your mind's eye, I want you to imagine yourself walking along a path. And it's nighttime, but you can see. You can see that the trees around you no longer have leaves. You can feel the cold air, the briskness of late autumn. The leaves have fallen, the air has cooled. And as you look up, above you is a bright, bright full moon. And that full moon is shining down, bright, shining down on your skin. You can feel it. You can feel the loving energy of the moon. And as that glow warms your skin in that brisk cold air, and you stare up at the beauty and the dynamic coloration of the moon, from within the center begins to be a symbol emerging from the center of the moon. And that symbol is of a bull. It's Taurus. It is the symbol for Taurus. Taurus pulls closer and gets bigger as an imprint on the moon. You recognize that the moon is telling you that it is speaking in Taurian energy today. Telling you what needs to be let go with that full moon energy. Allowing you to move past, to move on. You knew you were going to have to let go. And now, like a bull, you will move forward. of delicious food. And the luxuries that we experience, like hot water and electricity. These luxuries and any other luxuries you might have. These luxuries and that delicious food that you have access to, this is your moment to be grateful. To feel full with all of the abundance that most of us have. To feel grateful for that. Taurian symbol disappears into the moon, and you pull back from your focus on the moon to enjoying the light sky lit up with the moonlight and the path before you lit up. Know at this moment you chose to be here in the here and now. And as you walk forward, just know that you belong here. And I invite you to take another deep breath and start to come back into your body. Feel your legs and your feet on the floor. Feel your seat. And become present in the here and now. Beautiful. Thank you, Bright Hawk. Thank you so much. We so appreciate your music. So many people. Makwa is like, oh, Bright Hawk's music. Yeah. So, anyone that's ever interested, if you are interested in buying Bright Hawk's music, I'm about to change her site a little bit, but you can definitely order her book, and you can also order her music at brighthawkproductions.com. It's not hard to do. It's super easy. You just click on offerings and find music, and there you go. Bright Hawk does a lot of different things, but just wanted to let you know that you can order her music or her book, The Dancing Hippo. I was about to say it's right behind you, but you're covering it up, so I'll just do this. The Dancing Hippo is a great gift. It's a great gift right now. So if you have a child in your life and you want them to have a very progressive, beautifully illustrated, one-of-a-kind book, you will not find anything else like this. It's actually just very gender neutral, just so you know that. Okay? So just no gender pronouns at all. And it's meant so that, as Bright Hawk always says, so that every child can see themselves in any character.
That's right. That's right.
So we don't have to worry about that. Okay? So Alyssa says, beautiful, beautiful. Siobhan, I'm laughing. I read what you said as I opened my eyes, and I was like, oh my gosh. Of course you're saying that, Siobhan. Yeah, we're supposed to.
We've done it for everyone else, but we haven't done our own. Isn't that funny?
I'm going to figure out a way to do it. We're going to get it done. Okay, yeah. Siobhan? We're going to get it done. I'll keep you in mind, Siobhan.
That used to be our winter kind of projects, would be our recording projects over the winter, and it's a good habit to have. We've been out of that habit for a little bit.
Yeah, well, we had some difficulties, thank you, Pluto, but, we've survived.
It's not like we've had nothing going on.
Makwa, your granddaughter would just love it. It's just such a cute story. I've watched little kids be like, oh, the hippo, because the hippo dances, and then the elephant comes and tells them that that they can't dance, and then the hippo goes through this whole like, oh, woe is me experience, but they get messages from like Firefly and a butterfly and stuff, and eventually they come back, and then the hippo's dancing again, and the elephant eats their words and says, "Oh, I guess hippos can dance." Who knew, right? And so, like, I think every little kid has had that experience. Don't you think? I think every kid's had that experience at some point. Somebody tells you can't do something, right?
Right, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. And so Alyssa said that she got her book, and she says, my kids absolutely adore it. See? Little kids, they like it. They just love it.
Well, everyone wants to do a hippo dance trance, right? So if you get the ebook, then you get me telling the story.
Alyssa, did you get did you get the ebook on the app or on your phone so the kids can see Bright Hawk tell the story?
That's really sweet. I'm so glad you got it, and you guys are loving it. That's great.
Yeah.
It makes me really happy.
Yeah, the ebook won awards. It was fun to do. It was interesting because, once again, I'm a Uranian, so I like technology. I tend to be way out ahead, and I'm like developing the book, and I'm like, wait a minute. Amazon ebook for kids doesn't do that? What? What do you mean the technology doesn't know how to do that? I just couldn't make sense of it. But anyway, I've got it to a point where you can at least see it online, or you can, the app will kind of do some of the stuff. But it didn't do everything I wanted it to do, I'm just saying.
All in due time.
You're welcome. Yeah, right? You're welcome, Hannah. I didn't turn them on. You probably did.
Okay.
So, all right. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about this week, and I'm just going to start with the 11th. And I know that it's already happened. I know that today is like the 13th or the 14th or something. And, we're just going to go through each day. And just be aware that this forecast is... it's just meant to be an energy play. It's basically what does the week look like energetically for all of us, okay? Okay, if you need help with it, Alyssa, just message me, okay? It might be like the app that you're putting it on or something like that. And if nothing else, there's a link at the top of that email that will take you to like a bookmark, and you can just bookmark it and it will play, okay? All right, so let's bring it up. Sorry, it wasn't quite ready. Let me try that again. All right, my friends. Well, technology. Sometimes Mercury is stationing to go backwards for me. So that's what keeps happening. So odd. Okay, so I'm going to have to do something else. Bright Hawk, why don't you start by telling us about today's full moon? Because today we're on a full moon.
Okay, so today, actually tomorrow at 2 o'clock, I think, is the exact time of the full moon, mountain time. It's going to be definitely flavored by being conjunct with Uranus in Taurus. So first thing we think of when we think of Taurus is we think an earth sign, a fixed earth sign, no less. So just like the meditation indicated, Taurus is likes things to be in a high vibration. Taurus likes good food. If you're going to do it really well. It's ruled by Venus, right? Is Venus one of its rulers?
Yeah.
And it's conjunct Uranus. And of course, Hollis was just saying, Uranus is the planet of weirdness. Uranus is different. Uranus is revolutionary. Uranus is... Things gotta change now!
Hey, but we all have our own weird spot, okay?
Yeah, didn't see that one coming. Uranus is... dramatic, rapid change, often referred to as the clue by four, or the rug being ripped out from under you, or whatever it is that catches us off guard. But the whole point of astrology is to be able to say, okay, Uranus and the moon are conjunct, so it could be a surprise a minute, and you can flow with that. My personal affirmation is in my book. I'm willing to be delightfully surprised by how sweet this life can be. Now, not everyone, I do walk around with rose-colored glasses, There is a reason for everything. I am a Sag, yes, it's true. And so a fixed Taurus moon is an earthy moon. And so being grounded, doing things that make you feel grounded, like eating good food, doing things that are like a walk in the forest or, anything along those lines. Self-care is really, Taurians are great at spa days. And so, that's part of what we have going on with this Taurus full moon. The other thing that we have going on with this Taurus full moon is this is a really big change. The things that have been happening for a very long time, like we're at the very last days, I guess the last week, I'm going to say, of Pluto in Capricorn. It's about to leave. Next week, it'll go into Aquarius.
Yeah, I think it was Tuesday.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
And that changes everything.
That's going to change everything,
Literally
guys.
changes everything.
So,
for everyone. Pluto's slow. 20 years in each sign. So we're never going to see it again in Capricorn in our lifetimes. We're done with it. It's been a pretty intense ride for a lot of people. You've heard a lot about the age of Aquarius. That Pluto in Aquarius means transformative AI for sure.
Ed Cat said, "We love your rose-colored glasses."
Thank you very much.
I agree, Ed. Somebody's got to do it, right? Might as well be Bright Hawk, right? Okay.
So, yeah.
I'm so glad that you bathed in the moon rays, grandmother moon. Nikumis,
Oh,
I assume that's how I say it,
nice.
Makwa. You know I never mean disrespect to your tribe. And she's
that's
saying she was sad
beautiful.
today, but that's beautiful.
Good job.
So Siobhan,
that.
does it mean everything I've been putting off I'll start doing? In the next couple of weeks, yeah, you're going to start feeling a lot of forward movement.
That's a really good point. The
Yeah,
energy
because Saturn moves direct. We got this full moon kind of saying, okay, let go of whatever you had to let go of. Yeah, because Taurus sometimes can hold on to stuff for a long time. And healthy Taurians, healthy, I mean mental health, they sometimes describe their process of change as, well, first I noticed it probably needed to change. And then I waited a little while. And then I was like, I'm not sure this is such a good idea, and I should probably change this. And then I started to think of all the possible ways in which I could change it, and all of the ways in which that might turn out. And so I started to decide which way was going to be the best way to change. And then eventually I waited for the perfect opportunity, and I took off. And you're like, whoa, okay. Where some of us, I'm the opposite of that. I'm a Scorpio rising. I'm like, change! What? Oh, we're supposed to change it. Just change it. And that's me. I don't really resist change. I just kind of run after it. Maybe sometimes too much, okay? So, with the full moon there, when you say that full moon essence kind of sort of makes you let go.
Well, the full moon, if you did a new moon intention, which is when you're supposed to set your intention, is on the new moon.
Right.
And then it's coming to fruition as it's full, right?
Right.
And then the moon starts to shed, and it's time to let go, let go, let go. And what is it that needs to be let go?
Right, yeah. And I think a lot of people, I mean, at least for me, I have lots of things to let go of. Hannah, No, it's not. Your planet is Neptune as a Pisces. I don't know what your rising sign is, but as a Pisces, the ruling planet is Neptune. Uranus rules Aquarius. Okay? So, it rules Aquarius. So that's, Neptune and Uranus are two completely different planets for sure. Hi, Barbara. Oh, yeah, you've been holding on, Barbara. Are you like that Taurian I just...
Hi.
Hi, Charlie. Are you like that Taurian that I just described where you're like, maybe I'm going to move? But the thing about Taurus people is although they may struggle with change sometimes, they may struggle with change sometimes, they also are super loyal. Oh my gosh, are you serious? That's like my, I don't know. Anyway, and Barbara's a Libra Scorpio cusp. Okay. But you know your rising sign or your moon? Hannah's like, oh, thank the gods. The good news, Hannah, is that Neptune is going to go direct too. Later in this year, but it's going to go direct. By, I think, around Christmas time or something. Okay? So,
the big deal for those who said they have Pisces is that Saturn has been hanging out in Pisces for quite a while. Continues to. Saturn is now going to go direct. I think it did go direct, didn't it, this month? And so, yeah, you're going to feel those things. Those are huge planets. When they're in your sign, you feel it. People who are a sun sign of Gemini are probably very aware that Jupiter is hanging out there, right? Mm-hmm. So those are the ones that we talk about that are sort of universal for everyone. They're big planets, big energies. The ones that we talk about personally, this is personal to me. We always talk about what our personal signs are. It's our sun, it's our rising, and our moon sign. And so the personal planets are the ones that are in and close to the sun. So Mercury, Venus, Mars, and those are going to
be... And even Jupiter, they say. Even Jupiter's more personal.
And those are going to say a lot about your personality, how you approach life, how things go for you. The outer ones, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, that's going to really help all of us understand our generation, where we are in time as a community. And, those are bigger, longer views. And so it's huge, astrologically speaking, to see a sign like Pluto that's been in Capricorn for the last 20 years move into Aquarius, because the collective is going to change. Pluto is the planet of transformation.
Yeah.
So when it changes, we all change, right? So if you have major placements in Aquarius or in Capricorn, these are ripples, and you're going to feel like, whew. If you're a Capricorn, you might feel some relief to have Pluto move out of your sign. Frankly.
Yeah, Capricorns are starting to really feel some relief. In fact, speaking of a Capricorn, Barbara Jess has been studying with me for a while, and so I'm glad that she's offering some free readings. She's trying to master her astrology, and she'll tell you, and as Pluto moves out of her sign, kind of feels like that, okay? Because she has a lot of Capricorn. And so that's what people, that's kind of how it works. Now, Alyssa, she has a Pisces sun, a Gemini moon, and a Leo rising. Alyssa, this is a funny thing, is that we all have Taurus within us. Somewhere in your chart is Taurus. Somewhere in your chart is Aquarius. Somewhere in your chart is Scorpio. And so that's the other reason to never be prejudiced against someone just for their, astrological sign. Have you ever heard people that are like, oh, I'll never date a Sag again, or I'll never date a Gemini, right? And while their experience is real, each person is unique with their astrology chart. And so somewhere in your, maybe you have Gemini and Taurus, Alyssa. Maybe you have Venus in Taurus. Good grief. See, Mercury is about to go retrograde. So I'm a Virgo. And Mercury rules Virgo. So when Mercury goes direct, if you watch my show enough, you will learn the house talks backwards and sideways during Mercury retrograde. I'm sorry. I do my best.
Mercury also traditionally ruled Gemini as well. So Geminis feel Mercury retrogrades as well.
Mm-hmm. So, Alyssa, with that Gemini rising, you're going to feel what's coming up. And with that Leo rising, it's always going to answer to your sun, by the way. It's always going to go back to your sun, which is there in Pisces. So, Hannah, yeah, I bet you've been growing a lot, and a lot of us have in a lot of different ways, and that's because of where in the chart things fall, okay? And, okay, so Barbara is a Libra sun, and she has a moon in Capricorn. So, Barbara, if you've been having some really emotional stuff, things are going to be changing in the next couple of weeks for you. You're going to really feel like a big, heavy ordeal. You're going to feel like you've overcome an ordeal. Like you've survived. It's going to feel like that, Barbara. Okay.
Good goosebumps on that one for sure. So that's interesting.
Yeah, and you know what's happening for you, Makwa, is that Capricorn is opposite. So Pluto is opposite in the sky as your Cancer, where if you're a Cancer sun, so it's opposite your sun. So so that you're gonna feel that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then as it moves into Aquarius, it's gonna feel like that. Oh gosh, thank gosh. Unless you have a lot of Aquarius placements. Barbara, it might be called your ascendant. It might be called your ascendant. It's rising and ascendant are the same thing. It's what's rising on the horizon at the time of your birth. You have to have your time of birth. Great. I'm glad you thought it was interesting, Alyssa. Go, Barbara. Barbara's reading her chart over there. She's gonna be learning from Jess, and then next thing you know, she'll be ordering Hollis's Astrology 101 and out there doing readings just like Jess is.
Cute.
Yeah, Makwa. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate that you guys are tuning in. Yeah, things have probably been heavy, Barbara, because Pluto's on your moon sign, and moon is about emotions. So
yeah, of course we're all aware of the moon creates the tides, how much we're all water, 70-something% water. And the planet, of course, is almost 70-something% water. So when the moon, everyone feels the moon. And some of us have lunar placements that probably make you very psychic, very sensitive. Because we think about the moon, we think about emotions. We think about our emotional life, our emotional, how we walk through the world, how we feel about the world. So there's definitely a lot of lunar apps that'll help you track the moon every day and what it means to you in your sign.
Especially if you're a Cancer. If you have Cancer placements anywhere, watch the moon.
and if you have strong moon placements, like your moon is close to your ascendant, your rising sign, if your moon is conjunct something that makes it even stronger. So Charlie's really into being part of tonight's broadcast.
I think he's hoping for dinner soon.
Yeah, right?
We'll be having dinner after this.
I think it's all about dinner.
So, Hannah, you have an Aquarius moon, so I'm just going to give you a heads up. We'll talk about Pluto in a little bit, but you need to be aware that Pluto is moving into Aquarius, okay? Yeah. Here it comes.
Here it comes.
Okay, this is interesting. If you were born on a full moon, are you more sensitive to the full moon? What do you think of that, Brighthawk?
If you're born on a full moon, are you more sensitive to the full moon? I would say yes, because I'm close to that.
Weren't you born near an eclipse, though?
I was. I was born 24 hours after a full moon lunar eclipse.
A lunar eclipse, okay.
Yeah. And so people born near eclipses are said to have destined lives, fated energy. And yeah, just intuitively, it just makes sense. If you're born close to a full moon, that you're going to be more sensitive to the moon, especially the full moon.
It would be like sort of like being born during a Mercury retrograde.
which I was as well.
Right, but you're actually more at home.
In
So
that
like
energy,
where
right.
most people experience, their car breaking down and
Right.
miscommunication and stuff like that during Mercury retrograde, you don't experience that so much. You have a little bit of it, but I think that's because you're a Virgo rising. But your Mercury is retrograde, so for the most part, you don't talk backwards and sideways like I do. Right? Okay? Like, you don't stumble quite as hard as I do. So I wonder if, since you're, so a good way to feel that through, Siobhan, is that you probably are more comfortable with the full moon. It's probably more spiritual for you, and it might depend on what sign it's in, but it might be more enhanced for you in a positive way, because you're going to be more at home with it because you were born under it.
Exactly.
So I wonder what sign it's in.
So everybody gets one new moon a year and one full moon a year, right?
Right.
In your sign. So those of us, and it's very common because births are very common during full moons. Because the pull of the moon and the tides, it's so intense.
Totally makes sense.
Waters, it completely makes sense.
Right.
It's more common, I think, to be born near.
And anyone that has a cycle is very aware that the moon has everything to do with your cycle, right? So
exactly.
Come on, we know that. We don't need a doctor to tell us that. We know that. Okay.
That's not a scientific study.
Yeah.
That's very funny.
Right.
Okay, so so that's the big headline this week is, of course, a Taurus full moon. But the other big headline is Saturn going direct.
But that doesn't happen for a couple of days. We'll just look at these slides real quick.
Okay.
Hannah, you can just Google it. Just put your birthday in, and you could just be like, what was the moon phase on blah, 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 whatever your birthday is.
And if Monday was...
Yes, Makwa, we call it moon time.
And if Monday was particularly uncomfortable, it might have had something to do with the moon being opposite Pluto and conjunct Mars.
Oh, was it opposite Pluto? Oh. Here, is that on Monday?
I'm sorry, Mars is opposite. I read it wrong.
Okay.
Not the moon opposite Pluto.
Mars
continues to be opposite
Yeah.
Pluto. Mars is in Leo now.
And that's the indicator that...
really uncomfortable energy.
Yeah, and that our culture is kind of choosing more violent conflict, sort of conflict. This is the mundane astrology I told you I'm not real good at, but that's part of what's happening is that culture will choose. And so Mars can have two meanings in astrology. It can mean violence and conflict, or it can mean action and taking off and moving forward, okay? And that's Mars. And in Leo, it can be, the shadow of Leo is a little bit more arrogant and full of itself, like it knows everything, okay? Or Leo can be more full of integrity in the light. It can be very, what do you want to say, like...
Noble.
Yeah, noble. And they always want to do the right thing. So if you know a Leo rising or a Leo moon or a Leo, if they have Leo in their big three, they're always going to want to do the right thing by everybody. And so Mars is in Leo, Pluto is in Capricorn. And so we're pulling at our transformation. And so violence and conflict is, conflict. And that's what we're experiencing right now. And thank goodness there hasn't been any violence yet. Okay? But that's the story. Okay? That's what we're seeing in the sky. That's what happened on Monday. So if you really felt, really hard, if it felt overwhelming, heavy, you're probably more identifying with the Pluto side. Okay? And then this is Monday, and then this is Tuesday. I'm going to make this bigger for us.
Thank you.
Tuesday, we still had that, but we also had grand trines, good trines with Pluto in the south node and Pluto with Uranus, which is our path forward, but Uranus is still retrograde.
And opposite the sun. And that's a really big, intense opposition as well. Now, the thing that I want to call out on Tuesday is the Yod with Jupiter and Chiron at the base. pointing at the sun in Scorpio. We call that a finger of God. So sun in Scorpio, I always think about transformation and intuition and...
It's also sometimes about mystery. Scorpio
Okay.
represents mystery.
Yeah. With Jupiter and Chiron, something about healing.
Yeah, and even philosophies. But Jupiter is retrograde.
Mm-hmm.
So it's also a little bit, because Jupiter retrograde in Gemini is sort of letting the bad guy win. But when it goes forward, the more noble, positive people tend to win. Does that make sense? So that's what I've come to understand about Jupiter retrograde. And
Say
in
it
fact,
again?
that's what Anne Ortley said.
All right.
When Jupiter goes into Gemini, it's about righting the wrongs.
Which it is in right now.
Mm-hmm.
And
But
then-
when it goes retrograde,
Right.
the wrong win.
Oh, wow.
And it's been retrograde. And now it's going to go forward, at least in mundane world, okay? Now, for us personally,
Wow.
that's not what it means. What Jupiter
I
means...
think that explains the election.
I know it does. I know it does. Okay, so when Jupiter...
You can't make this stuff up. And the revelations, when they come, it's like, oh.
So, but Jupiter, when it's retrograde in your personal life, so if you have any Gemini placements, or it's about taking a reflection and actually speaking our needs. Like, so instead of things that might come normally easy to you during a retrograde period, the best thing to do is let your wish be known, because Jupiter will always answer you, because it's a malefic. So it will always answer your... Sorry, it's a benefic planet. So it benefits you. That's what it means. It's always working for your benefit. And if you ask for, you make your wish and you're positive, then you're more likely to get your wish fulfilled. Okay? Depending on where Jupiter is in your chart, and depending on where Gemini, what house Gemini landed in, okay, or if there's anything else in Gemini. So that's been going on for a little while. And Uranus, which is retrograde, which means a lack of progress, we are going backwards in Taurus, and Uranus has been going backwards for a little while now, and it will eventually go forward a little bit later this year, but right now it's in Taurus and it's going backwards. And that's a lack of progress, or a resistance to progress. And it's been across the sky from the sun on Tuesday. And so that's probably a little bit more of what we're feeling in the mundane part of the world. But then in our personal lives, I think the sun in Scorpio is about transformation. And that's where we're feeling like, this has got to change. Right? Okay? So there's something going on in your life Tuesday, Wednesday, that you were like, I gotta do this better. Okay, and so if you find yourself doing that, seeing how you're gonna change, or starting to make a strategy, remember how I said Taurus was slow change, where it sees the path before it makes any moves.
Right.
Okay, so that's Tuesday. And today is Thursday. So this is Wednesday. Yesterday, we continued to have that intensity with the Scorpio moon. So feeling like transformation is a little bit like progress might feel a little like you're dragging bags or something. Like you're dragging 100 pounds. That's what it's going to feel like. Especially with the moon on Chiron there.
Well,
in Aries.
When the moon is in Aries, we often talk about it being a nervous Nelly, a cat on a hot tin roof, a uncomfortable, twitchy. Because think about it, the moon lives in water, right? Is the water sign, and lives in Cancer, the sign of Cancer, I should say. And then, of course, Aries is all about cardinal fire. So you have cool meets hot, and it's just uncomfortable. It's almost like throwing water on a hot skillet.
Yeah.
So it's going to pop, and it's going to be like, whoa, why are you so nervous? Why are you so twitchy?
Mm-hmm.
That's what the moon in Aries is like.
Definitely felt that way.
So when it's conjunct Chiron, Chiron, of course, is the wounded healer. So what needs healing? Right? What needs healing? So hopefully, and if you're a Taurus moon, this is your full moon. And so the next day, of course, the moon goes into Taurus, which is Friday. It perfects, the full moon perfects at 2 o'clock in the afternoon Mountain Time.
All right. Well, and the thing is Kat said, Kat in the medium group said, I'm very drawn to the full moon. My period was on a lunar cycle. I just figured my fascination with the moon was my innate feeling for not being from this planet. You're probably a Cancer rising or Cancer moon or Venus
That's
is
funny.
in Cancer or something. That's very funny. And Nicole asked, are you still alive? Clearly. And I'm a Sagittarius and I've studied astrology forever. Yeah, Nicole, welcome. This is a broadcast for the week. Okay? And see, Siobhan said, Barbara said Monday was so hard. And then Siobhan saying Monday and Tuesday were hard for me. See, I think sometimes going back and reviewing, even when the time has passed, even when we're late, is good because then you can reflect and go, okay, well, it was the energy in the stars and I am working towards progress. We are moving towards progress, as slow and as heavy as it may feel. What Chiron is, it's a asteroid, Alyssa. It's an asteroid that marks, it's called the Wounded Healer. There's like a cool little story about Chiron that you can look up, and it's a Greek god type of story, but that's who Chiron's named after. But it marks your wound, and sometimes that wound is unhealable. But if you do heal it, you'll be like this amazing healer.
Right.
Okay. All right. So as we go forward, this is today. Now we still have, Mars opposite Pluto, but it's getting further away because Mars won't be back for a while. Because Mars is going to go forward past Pluto here, and it's going to turn around and come back while Pluto is in Aquarius.
Right. Pluto moves at a snail's pace. Right now it's like 1 second a day. I mean, it's just so slow. And Mars, of course, moves pretty quickly. So it's going to get farther and farther away, and it'll relieve some of the pressure that we've all felt for the last week.
For a little while.
Yeah. That especially, Mars opposite Pluto is just uncomfortable.
Just give us a little break. So that's good. And then Saturn is starting to slow down so that it can start to go direct. So Saturn's been at 12 degrees for a couple of days, and I think it goes direct tomorrow. And so you're probably starting to feel a little bit of a pull forward, especially if you have a Pisces placement, if you have Pisces sun or Pisces moon or Pisces rising, you're gonna feel it. If you have Virgo, you're probably going to feel it. I'm a Virgo, and I can feel it. Because Pisces and Virgo are opposite each other, so that means Saturn is opposite. Saturn is opposite my sun right now, and I can feel it. I have felt very restricted. Like, I can't do this, and I can't do this, and I can't do this. And it's mostly because I've been struggling with my health, but I've been slowly figuring things out, and things have been getting slowly better. And now as Saturn goes direct, I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope that I won't feel so restricted, right? Okay, so that's what we're going to notice with Saturn. What Saturn restricts. Okay, so wherever it is, it tends to restrict. If you're in your Saturn returns, it's going to change your whole life. So if you have Saturn in Pisces, or whether you're in your first or second, it's going to change everything.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Moving on. It's been a long freaking Saturn return. It has not been super fun.
Right. But there are a lot of people who might be watching that have Saturn in Pisces. Yeah.
Thank goodness for astrology.
And so, today is not a terrible day, but you're probably starting to feel like you're kind of going, or you might have some idea which direction to go or what you might do, but you're still not quite there yet. Okay? Mm-hmm. And so tomorrow it should feel... when Saturn will go direct tomorrow, so when it does, you're probably going to feel it, particularly if you're a Virgo or a Pisces or have placements in Virgo or Pisces, you're going to feel it. You're going to notice that it suddenly went direct. Oh my gosh, suddenly something is not restricted, something is not being squeezed, something is not being stopped, something is going to be released, okay? Which is really, really great. You're excited because it's going to move away from your Saturn. Yeah. We have a Saturn returns twice in our life. Once between the ages of about 27 and 30. So if you're in there, you're in your Saturn returns, you best get an astrology reading. It's the most recommended really time to get an astrology reading.
I think just before my Saturn return was when I first started really learning about astrology. What is this Saturn return thing? Does anyone know who can give me a reading? You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I didn't really know how to get a reading, but I knew that somebody told me that I was in my Saturn returns. Like, I think it might have been my mama, Karen. She told me that I was probably in my Saturn returns because of my age. So, it was like my birthday or something. And she told me that I should be prepared for major change.
A reading like a year before or something would have been super helpful, right?
Right, yeah. I don't know, yeah. But so, and then it happens again when you're close to 60, okay? In your late 50s and into 60, you're going through your Saturn returns again. And that's usually a little bit more about legacy. The first one is more about becoming an adult, so you really grow up in your first one, and then your second one is about your legacy.
And I suppose your third one would be too.
No, your third one, they said, is about pleasure and like luxury, like knowing what you truly love. And I'm thinking, if you're 90?
You're going to wait till 90 to figure this out? Right. Oh, God, I hope not. Okay,
anyway.
I hope you figured it out way before then.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so anyway.
Part of life is knowing what you like and what you do not like. What you want and what you do not want. And it is good to speak those things.
Yeah. So, Barbara, you might just be feeling it a little bit ahead. You might just be feeling that Pisces just a little bit ahead. So, I felt it yesterday, too. And I felt it today. And I believe it's getting stronger. You might also have a Virgo placement, as I mentioned. Hey, Angie, it's great to see you. All right, and so then when we go to Saturday, I have to change it first. Saturday, we have a grand trine in the sky with Pluto and the moon and the south node. Look at that. Mm-hmm. Well, that's good. That's in air, and I'm pretty sure because even though Pluto's still technically in Capricorn, it's only 3 seconds away from Aquarius.
Yeah. And part of, if you're not familiar with the term grand trine, what it means is that it's all the signs that share the same element. So it's all the air elements in this case. So Pluto... And of course, air representing the mind. And hopefully it means that we're going to be thinking about things differently by the 16th. That there's some brightness in our thoughts, maybe some hope coming back.
And I guess with Pluto being on a grand stage, it's probably going to help people think better about... So if they did struggle with the election, they're probably going to start to feel like, okay, I chose to be here at this time. What am I supposed to do to help with the revolution? Because here it comes.
Yeah.
Right? So, because that's what's going to happen. There's, we're entering into a revolutionary time. There's no joke about it. I don't know how many astrologers have said that. Pluto in Aquarius is revolutionary. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, and it is 3 seconds away. So it doesn't mean 3 Earth seconds. So it moves into Aquarius next Tuesday. It will take Pluto till next Tuesday to move into Aquarius. Yeah. But you're starting to feel it now. And some of you with strong intuition or with Aquarius placements are probably already feeling it, already sensing it. You might feel revolutionary in your life, especially if you have something in the early degrees of Aquarius. So that's like the first 5 degrees of Aquarius. You're going to feel it first, whatever you have in there. You're going to feel a revolutionary. You might go through an ordeal. Don't be afraid. Just trust. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to help you trust that this is what the universe had us planned for.
And air is all about the mind and thinking and how we think about things. And so that's what I'm looking at, is like, how are your thoughts going to change? Because usually it's how we think first, and then based on what we're thinking, then how are we actually feeling?
Also, Aquarius also rules AI. So, technology and medicine. So that's really good because I read a lot of like medicine news. It might be strange to you guys, but I love medicine, okay? And I read a lot of like modern research and like forward moving. And the way medicine is going is really leading us towards like holistic medicine, big time. It big time is, because they're proving that stress is the cause of things like cancer and things like that, and they're proving that mental health and physical health are very much connected, and like how you live your day-to-day life and stuff. So I really feel like changing our thoughts is right on point, because that's going to have a lot to do with your mental health, because you think first and then you feel, usually, or you feel something and then you think something, right? Okay. And so usually it's the thoughts that are part of the mental health issue. And so that's what makes me think. And I think Aquarius is actually very centered on mental health. Most Aquarian people with strong Aquarius placements have some awareness of mental health. They have a feeling that everybody should be treated fairly, for instance, and stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they have an idea of everybody's mental health, right?
Right. Well, and then you also have that grand trine in air, and the players in that grand trine, Pluto, the moon, the nodes. When the nodes are involved, it means that you could potentially meet somebody who's part of your destiny, your future destiny. And or if it's the south node, someone from your past could reappear, and there's some kind of somebody you're supposed to, that maybe they help you in some way, that or you help them.
Right. Yeah, and so whatever, that's the weekend, I think, is actually going to be pretty good. I think it's going to feel pretty good. We might feel like we start, also because of the Aquarius collective air thing, because Libra is also about collaboration, Gemini is about collaboration, they're all about relationships,
community.
And so it also makes me feel like people could really start feeling connected to their community.
Right.
And so in some ways, the way that things have turned out in the election has been really good for a lot of people that are more liberal, more forward thinking, because it's pushing us together. It's pushing us and forcing us to come together, even though we've been sort of pushed away by technology. It's also pushing us together. It's forcing us to come together and figure this out, and how to get through the next, 4 years, or the next 10 years. Okay. And so, Siobhan, congratulations. She went to a naturopath finally a few months ago, and I've never felt better.
Yay.
I totally believe you, Siobhan.
That's awesome.
Totally believe you. And then I wanted to address, Jade said, I'm an Aries, and I'm 33. And I felt so off this week. How does an Aries play into all this? Well, first of all, so you're talking about Aries there, Jade. And so Aries, first of all, is... First, let's just start with, that's only your sun sign. You don't know what your rising sign is. You don't know what your moon sign is. It would be really helpful if you knew those two. You can go look at it online for free. Okay? Now, the ruler of Aries is Mars, which is forward movement. In our personal lives, it tends to look like forward movement, but sometimes it can be conflict and fighting and even violence, okay? And right now, Mars, which is connected to Aries, is pulling on Pluto, and they're pulling on each other. And there's some part of us that wants to just transform and move forward, and other parts of people that are willing to fight. Okay? And that fight and that transformation are pulling on each other. And that's probably what you're sensing, Jade, is that you're feeling probably torn between those two things, especially if you have like a Scorpio placement or something like that, you know, something that might have to do with that. Or if you have a Leo placement, like if the Mars is on in your Leo or Pluto's down in Capricorn for you, maybe Pluto has been down in Capricorn for you. Maybe you have some Capricorn placements. Hard to say exactly, Jade, but Aries is at the beginning of the zodiac and tends to take off, and Aries people tend to have a lot of great ideas. So, yeah, so I think this weekend looks pretty good to me, Bright Hawk. It looks like the Grand Trine is there.
Yeah, the intensity that we were experiencing at the beginning of the week, it finally shifts. And by the weekend, it's like, okay, I can think about this. I can think about this a little less extremely, maybe. And now you have the moon conjunct Jupiter in Gemini. And of course, Jupiter is still retrograde. Gemini's ruled by Mercury, so the moon is going to answer to Mercury. Mercury is all about communication, and it's in opposition. So that
feels like oppression of language. And with Mercury in its shadow, it's being oppressed. Because that would even be silenced.
Mercury's in its detriment also.
And it's about to go retrograde. It's slowed down. It's in its shadow.
So probably won't be the easiest day for conversation.
Right.
On Sunday.
I would avoid having too much social interaction on Sunday. I would do the socializing on Saturday.
For sure.
And then on Sunday, maybe take some time for yourself or do some self-care or something.
Right.
Especially with Mercury, it's about to go retrograde. I think it goes retrograde next week. And it will be retrograde for a while, for like 6 weeks. So if you have a car that you need fixed, something that feels like it might break, fix it now if you don't want to get stuck, or be prepared that it could break.
Yeah, do your computer backups or whatever it is that you need that makes,
Right. So, and Siobhan, she's helped with my mental health. I totally believe it. And, Barbara said she just looked it up, and my rising sign is Aries. See that, Barbara? That's about your forward movement. So that's that feeling of going forward. So you're probably activating that going forward energy, which is good. It's good.
Because when Mars goes retrograde, everyone feels the momentum go backwards.
Great.
And it's coming.
Yeah, it will be going retrograde. So get what you got to get done now. Follow the forward movement you have now. It will be going retrograde in like a month. Yeah. Not even. It's a couple weeks. So just keep going forward. Good job, Barbara. Just keep going forward. Follow that forward direction right now to the best of your ability. Jade, it's your big three. It's your sun, moon, and rising. So that's the 3 most important signs that you should know for your astrology chart. So,
you want to do a reading?
We could do a little tarot reading.
The Love is Love deck.
This is an LGBTQ deck. The Love is Love, because love is love, my friends. And we're all about the love, and I hope you are too. So Makwa said my moon is in Taurus. Right. So really be thinking about, I know you're waiting for the perfect opportunity, Makwa. But Uranus will be going direct in your moon sign, and that will probably change a lot of things. You'll have a very strong sense of clarity when that happens. Okay. All right, so I'm mixing up my astrology, my tarot cards. This is the Love is Love deck. You can get this online. It's also known as the Pride deck. And every single one of these cards is done by a different LGBTQ artist. And I just wanted to pull 3 cards about this week and the rest of our week here for everyone. And, okay. Well, that's exactly what I said. So, first of all, talk about Uranian. So this is the Queen of Cups. I love this card. Have you ever seen this card?
It's fascinating.
It's such an amazing card. This is the Queen of Cups. This is the empowered woman. This is the woman that's like, oh no, you're not going to tell me how to live, or person. It doesn't even have to be a woman. But it's a person that gets to do things on their own accord, in their own way, with their own resources and in their own way. And this is about being empowered, and this is about being authentically unique in just the way you are. And that's exactly what this card is. This is the Queen of Cups. It's a very special card. This is about being authentic and authentically you. And then this is the Two of Wands, which is where we are right now. And this is about choosing. This is also about teamwork. This is about who will I be working with and who will I be setting my intentions with forward. So if you've found yourself teaming up with others, if you've found yourself starting to do things for others, or even visioning what's going to happen, or feeling like you're making a plan, that's exactly what this is. This is the Two of Wands. It's about setting your intentions, especially in a collaborative way. Okay? So that's in the here and now. Collaboration is now, and that's what I said. Remember? Said now it's good to be social. Be good, be social all the way through until Saturday, and then on Sunday, which is the future, this is the Hermit card. This is about self-reflection and taking time on your own. This is about taking some time to reflect on what you've been through, because if you do have any placements in Capricorn or in Cancer or even early degrees Leo, we've all been through a hell of an ordeal. Okay? We've all been through an ordeal. And an ordeal is enough to feel really heavy, especially with Pluto. And as Pluto's energy moves on to other things and starts to push forward into the revolutionary period that we're headed into, we need to take some time to reflect and to take in what has happened to us. What has come up? What have you seen and felt and going forward? And what have you experienced? Okay? So remember, love and embrace and be your authentic self. Be who you are. Be number one authentic. Be who you're supposed to be, okay? Don't hide it from anyone. Be proud of that, because it's important. Being authentic is very important for the evolution of the human race. And then going forward, remember that collaboration is very important. Set your intentions. Move forward. Get things done as you're going forward. And be sure to take some time to reflect, especially in the future, maybe on Sunday. Take some time to just be quiet and take some reflection on your ordeal, because I'm sure you've been through one. Melissa is a Scorpio with Taurus moon, and my rising is Aquarius. Wow, so your sun and moon are opposite of each other. Wouldn't that mean that she was probably born near maybe a full moon?
Yeah, sure, of course.
So, Melissa, you might have been born near a full moon. You should look it up.
And a Taurus full moon right now is going to feel pretty powerful for you.
Yeah.
This is like a happy full moon.
Yeah, really, really powerful. You're welcome, Nikki. I seen what Nikki said earlier. Nikki, I didn't put it up. I didn't get a chance to put it up. But she said, She said, well, if this isn't my confirmation that I'm moving next Friday, then I don't know what is. Thank you so much. I secured the ride 3 hours ago.
Wow.
So she's moving. Go, Nikki.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
May
And
all go well.
Nicole, we didn't do a thing for each sign like we didn't do for each sign. I have thought about doing that. It's a lot of work because you have to essentially cast a chart for each zodiac, and mostly just do one for the whole week. But I know that a lot of people really like that. So maybe someday we might shift how we do it. I don't know. I know that there's some changes that needs to happen to Rainbow Soul, and we're just not sure what they are right at this time.
Fair enough.
Okay, and I'm going to wait till Mercury's done its retrograde before I make any decisions. This Uranian is wise.
Spend some time thinking about it like a Taurus.
Yeah, I'm trying to brace my inner Taurian.
We all have an inner Taurian, so you get to embrace it on this full moon, look up at that.
Right.
What feels really good to me?
All right, friends. Well, I hope you enjoyed this broadcast, and just remember, be social, but maybe on Sunday, take a little break. And when the energy's going forward, ride the wave now. Go now, because Mars is going to go retrograde later. And
Mercury's going to go retrograde.
Yeah.
So get done what needs to get done.
get it done. Get it done.
This Mercury retrograde especially. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we send you tons of love. Hope it goes really, really well. Thanks for listening to Rainbow Soulstrology. It's been fun interacting with the live and getting live questions. Thanks so much for your comments. We really want to know how it's going for you. If what we're saying is lined up for you and helped you in any way, that's the goal. So thanks for listening to Rainbow Soulstrology, where we try to be a bridge between you and the stars. Have a great week.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to this week's Soulstrology and subscribing, liking, sharing, and reviewing. We hope you enjoyed this dose of Soulstrology and encourage you to embrace the week ahead with an open mind and heart so that you may integrate the deepest of lessons from the stars. Take a moment to step outside and honor the planets, stars, and moon in the sky with your heart. Integrate the messages that resonate and leave the rest for someone else. We deeply appreciate each and every one of you. Always remember that you are a perfectly unique human with an exclusive star map of your destiny, your soul purpose, and your heart's desire. Thank you again for tuning in to Rainbow Soul.